Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it is finally time for our under-edited season. This is our third in our this is our third in our, season of the fans. And this was suggested by.
Lilith Plays. So thank you, Lilith Plays, for coming up with this suggestion for this one.
Yeah, this one is interesting. I will say it was a little hard picking some people because it's like you want to pick someone that's kind of like you can get excited about, but at the same time, like if they didn't get the edit, you're kind of like, well, who is this guy?
Mhm.
I feel like I found, at least for me, because this is like the first time I was looking at like uh we did it, our criteria was by confessional count, and they had to have lower than a 2.25 confessional count per episode.
Mhm.
And so like it was interesting to see some of the people that didn't get as much confessionals and hitherto under edited in some regards, which is I was like, huh. Like
Yeah.
when you sent me your list and then I saw Courtney on there, I was like, what? But she was, especially in China, like
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
part of a lot of the drama and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
but no, she has a 1.7 confessionals average, which is bonkers. Because I mean, but Courtney, she's just a master of the confessional. Like you give her one confessional episode, that one confessional is going to feel like she gave you four.
yeah. And congrats to Courtney for getting married. I saw that happen. I didn't
Nice.
see it happen, but I saw the news.
Yeah, before we get too further, we also have we're recording this on someone's birthday who is on our list actually.
Oh
So
yeah,
happy birthday, Noelle. It is her birthday today on the day we're recording. You won't see this, it'll be a little bit afterwards, but yeah, we are recording this on.
happy birthday. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so that's a little fun little coincidence. Yeah, so should we get right into it?
Yeah, let's get going here. Starting off here, my tribe is first, and we have artist Sylvester from Survivor Philippines, who went into the season with I think a story that should have been put way more front and center.
Yeah,
He was a big fan, who would always apply. He ends up getting cancer, and just so happens that after he manages to beat it, his next submission, that's like one of the first things he says. He's on like, I'm going to audition for Survivor again. Gets onto the show, and I mean that's like just a great story that, especially nowadays, we would be taught. They would have talked about it. They would
yeah,
drive him. Yet in Survivor Philippines, he's basically not on the screen.
yeah.
He
I think that's partially due to his tribe just never going to tribal council prior to the merge. And also, when you have Abby Maria on your team, you know that a lot of drama is going to be focused around her. So, like, I'd say like the downside that artist did, because I remember seeing the TV Guide special back when like that was, like how we would get a sneak peek before like the internet was like so like,
knew
you know,
everything.
you can do everything on the internet and like see and do your research more. Like I was like thinking that I was like, oh, that is pretty cool. But I feel that, with Philippines being such a iconic season, and you had not only three returnees, but some iconic people like we were talking about Happy Maria, but you also had Denise, you also had Malcolm, making their debut and really cementing themselves as like, icons of like, the newer age of Survivor. So like artists kind of had to be a little bit pushed to the side, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know if you have confessional count for your people, but for average, I guess, because yeah, he only gets 0.57 confessionals per episode that he's in, so as his average. So yeah, he's someone that you probably forget that he's even on the screen, and then suddenly he gets voted out and it's like, oh, okay, let's keep going. But yeah, I thought he would have at least been showcase a little bit more, because
Yeah.
they definitely were a little more just kind of like, we could bring up the story, but maybe that would be weird bringing it up and then he goes home at this point. Maybe that could have also been something that where they were thinking at that time. Whereas
Yeah.
nowadays they would not think that. They want every story told when someone goes out there. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, we'll see what artist is. First time I believe on the channel. Uh,
yeah,
so
definitely.
welcome artists.
Now, this obviously this is going to be a lot of people's like first time in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form.
Yeah,
Uh,
I tried mostly bringing first times or maybe some people who were on like once but didn't have like a big performance.
I think I
There's
only
a couple
brought,
exceptions, but that was what I was trying for mostly.
if we go down to mine, yeah, I think JP is the only person I haven't brought. Maybe I think at some point we brought Aaron,
Yeah, I think we did Aaron like a while ago.
but JP is the only one that I know for a fact that we haven't.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's right. Um, okay, moving on now to Carl Boudreau, however you say his last name. And he was from one of my favorite modern day seasons, David versus Goliath. And he was pretty much unedited, like almost totally until he gets the idle nullifier when he's over
Yeah,
Exile Islands. Um, and then he kind of goes silent again after that until the big move that happens that basically, starts knocking out the Goliaths. And he takes like full credit for it. Like he becomes the godfather of the season out of nowhere off of this one move where he did the bing, um,
yep,
that iconic phrase now. But yeah, he was basically not seen until it became very relevant at that one point where he just suddenly took full credit for everything, which was a terrible decision because immediately then everyone wanted him out because he was, the main person at like final nine or so.
yeah. I mean, that's always the tricky thing. Like, you obviously want to play a big move, and like that nullifier was very important in the David's gaining the momentum. Uh, you know, not make it like a total decimation. So yeah, I mean, I thought Carl was all right. Like, it's also a thing I feel like when it comes to very iconic seasons, such as 37. David vs. Goliath gave us so many great people. And it's kind of hard, like there are some people, and like same with artists, where it's like some people just don't get as much screen time because you have people like Angela, or you have people like Hibiki, or you have Mike White, that are like also taking up the screen time. Nick, like all
Yeah,
these
I
people.
think that's going to be almost all these people because I'm just looking at this. I'm just like, wow, these people are on a bunch of seasons with big personalities that Survivor gave a lot of attention to, and it's
Yeah,
just like, the especially the middle era of Survivor, like the kind of 21 to 30, and a little bit of like the teens of Survivor as well. They
yeah,
really like to focus in on like a couple people as like this is our story. Everything is going to be around them, and everyone else is here just kind of to support your main
yeah,
cast, basically. Um, and nowadays, I think that they've kind of changed that a little bit. You see a lot more, like they're trying to give people a lot of screen time. We'll get to people on your tribe, but you have some people, newer players from the modern seasons,
yeah,
and that they're under edited by our standards, but it's weird. Like you wouldn't think they're under edited. Like they are almost big staples of the seasons that they were a part of.
exactly. And I feel like, because when I was doing it, it was interesting to like look at these for the first time. And like, obviously the earlier seasons where there wasn't as much strategy going on,
Mhm.
a lot more people kind of like shine because they were like, oh yeah, uh, yeah, what else are we gonna do? They're not talking strategy, so like, you get
Mhm.
some of the, like, I would say, side people, get more confessionals as a result.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
Okay. So we'll see if Carl ends up taking over the Godfather reign on this tribe if he's gonna decide to do what got him eliminated in his past season.
yeah,
I think Carl has been on our channel once.
maybe,
Yeah, that's what I feel like he did, but he must have gone out super early because I vaguely remember him being here, but I he might have also been someone who I put and then changed last minute.
Yeah.
So
Who
yeah,
kn this is what we need the list. I
yeah,
know.
we need a list of everyone who's played.
Exactly. I mean, it's just yeah, out of all the damn projects I have, something for our channel has yeah, that has to be one of my projects when I'm finished with one project. So that way I can be like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Sit down and go through every single person.
well, I mean, I would it would require maybe a special notebook
Yeah,
or Google Docs or whatnot. I don't know. I feel like because I do a lot of things on my phone,
yeah.
so
I mean,
going back and forth
it's
might be
probably
a little.
possible if maybe you do like one season like as at a like a day or something like that, doing like season episodes 1 to 5 as I'm going to look at all the players in this period and write them down, and then tomorrow I'll do season 2, maybe something like that.
The
That could be a way
discipline.
to like do it without making it feel like you're tackling so much.
And that's my style sometimes. Like I'm like, no, I go in gun blazing and want to do like take out huge chunk of things. Anywho,
Yeah.
tangent aside, or not tangent, all that aside, we have more peeps to go over.
Yes, exactly. So I want to move on now. We already mentioned that Noah was on this season, but the first amputee to play Survivor was in Survivor Vanuatu, one of my personal favorite seasons, and that was Chad Cretendon, who was the second jury member of the season, the last guy to get voted out before Chris has his miracle run to make it to the end. Um, and yeah, as the first amputee, also someone who does not get a lot of confessionals here. He is actually had the best edit of all the people on this tribe with 1.8 average confessionals for
Hmm.
the episodes he is in. Carl, I forgot to mention, he has 1.55 average for when he played. But yeah, I like Chad. I was rooting for him. I was wanting to see him and Chris, make a bit of a run there at the end. But yeah, not really. They kind of give all of the screen time to Chris in
Yeah,
this. Like Chris really is the main character of that season, and Chad just plays what we said, the supporting role pretty much of the guy who is kind of with Chris until Chris finally votes him out to kind of build favor with the girls.
yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, yeah, as I said, I like him. First amputee, that's gotta mean something for him. I would
Of
love to see
course.
him and Noel get put on the same tribe together. That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, because I feel like, and this is something. This is a recent story actually. Part of it has to do with Noel. Um, is that stuff like that do inspire people.
Mhm.
I was at a Christmas party and there was a guy who lost some of his fingers and stuff. I won't say how, but like he did what I believe he did watch 43 in its entirety, and like Noel gave him like some inspiration to apply and whatnot. So it's like people like that um really some people are like, oh, this is like, how I am and I'm so restricted. People that, are like, nah, fam, I can go out on Survivor and do, or on reality shows in general, or anything. It really gives hope to people who may seem hopeless at sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think one of the early inspirational players of Survivor, on Vanuatu especially. So yeah, we'll see how Chad does on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on now to Chelsea Townsend. We are playing this on Ghost Island. She was on Ghost Island. Um,
Was she? No, I'm playing.
yeah, was she? I don't know. Even though she won 3 immunities that season.
Yeah, I mean, like with Ghost Island, I wouldn't even say it was a thing of like there was like a lot of better confessionals, but I think it's gonna be kind of like similar like with Dave. There was like a really one or two individuals that took up a lot of screen time, and I feel like it was the Dom and Wendell show
Yeah.
for most of it. Granted, obviously we've had there were other people that season that made it like interesting, and there were some like cool, I don't want to say side characters, but like people then other than Don and Wendell, like Donovan being one. And
Mhm.
yeah, so I don't know, like Chelsea, yeah, just kind of flew under the radar and stuff, and which is kind of, there's someone in a similar situation on my list.
Yeah.
But it is kind of weird when you look at like some of the stats, and then these people are like kind of brought up, and then you kind of watch the season and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, she is the least edited person on my tribe, with an average confessional count of 0.33.
Jesus.
Yeah, that is basically not even being on the season.
That's less than one. That's less than one every other episode. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I always feel bad for some people because, like, this is like they dream about going on Survivor and
yeah.
whatnot, and then like they're barely in the season, and
Yeah.
then
Especially because like when you're out there, like I guarantee you she was trying to do something, or
yeah,
at least you win three immunities, you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to be featured on the season. Like you'd imagine that you would get some screen time, but they still decided, no, we got to focus all on Dominic and Wendell, so that way that finale will be more satisfying.
yeah. What you gonna do? Well,
Yeah.
she may find fame on our channel.
Exactly, exactly. Now here is someone who had fame on Survivor, yet both seasons that she has been a part of has had very few confessionals. We got Courtney Yates, who on China average confessional count of 1.77, and her heroes versus villains confessional count was 0.44. She only had four confessionals on heroes versus villains.
I understand heroes versus villains, but
Yeah.
like kind of like what we were saying earlier, like she was such a big part of, China, that it's like a little baffling that she didn't get that much screen time. I mean, like so far on your team, it was a season where there was someone on that channel, or a bunch of people on that season, I mean, not channel,
Mhm.
that just got, a lot of love. And like Courtney got a lot of love, or at least like, she had that rivalry with John Robert. You
Mhm.
know, she was like really tight with Todd. She won a challenge by just sitting around and doing nothing. She's like, oh yeah, I'm a big fan being the little blonde girl. At finale, she has so many great one-liners, like Jeff Probst called me fat. Like it was a little surprising to see her under, to see the stats, but the stats don't lie. Um, huh.
Exactly. But she's been pretty bad on her channel, except for her last outing, I believe, or maybe two outings ago. But well, the season Sierra Easton wins, was her best one, which was a Big Brother simulator. She has yet to
Yeah,
do good on a Survivor season.
this could be the one. This could be the one.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we shall see how Courtney Yates does, as we move on now to someone who I think is my favorite on my tribe, Dave Ball, who I really wanted to see more of on Samoa. Even though I love Russell Hands, I thought he was a lot of
Yeah,
fun. I still thought Dave was also just as quirky. Like I thought he was very quirky. I thought he was a lot of fun. But he only got 1.33 average confessionals on his season. Makes sense. I could have picked anyone from Samoa. Like the only other person who I think had more confessionals than 2.25 was Shambo.
yeah. It
And then
was
it's
pretty
pretty
much
much,
though. Yeah.
yeah.
He kind of suffered, there's a lot of reasons why someone might be under edited. And I think in a similar vein as artists, he was on a tribe that was winning a lot. And it was also where, you had Well, I mean, like, obviously, Russell Hantz was the most iconic person to come out of that season. But like even on his own tribe, there was stuff with Russell Swan first, and Shambo, being such an icon of that season. She got a lot of screen time on that, and then you have Lauren, then Monica, and so Dave just like slowly gets sidelined.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm hoping to see him do good here. He has been on our channel once before. And I remember because I was really upset because I wanted him to do so much better. Because he won the first immunity of the season and then just immediately gets voted out because they're like, I'm not dealing with Dave now. He won the
Yeah,
challenge. We got to get rid of him. So hopefully he can actually have a good performance here. I want to see it. Come on, Dave.
uh, let's see. We'll see.
Okay, next up, someone also from a season that was dominated mostly by one person. We got Grant Matos from Redemption Island, who was basically Boston Rob's muscle for most of the season. Uh,
Yeah,
he basically used him to win a bunch of pre-merge challenges early on. I believe Grant wins a couple immunities as well. He basically is just Boston Rob's like second in command almost, until he finally gets rid of him because he doesn't want a physical threat near the very end of the game.
yeah,
um and yeah, I mostly brought him because I mean I needed a strong physical person on my tribe. And I thought Grant, I wanted to see some more potential come from Grant.
yeah. Um, like I say, yeah, it was a thing where, yeah, he was the muscle on that tribe, and he really did help out a lot in that like core alliance. I'd say the redemption seasons, like uh, it was kind of tough to break out in those seasons. Granted, there were like obviously we also got Philip, we also had Andrea, like and then Matt. So it's like it's really tough when there's a lot. I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but like, yeah, you just kind of was like, we've
That's
seen better comp beasts before. We have Boston Rob, by Grant,
yeah.
by Grant.
Yeah, he never did the best of anything. And so
Yeah,
like at least Philip, like he was really good in the entertainment value. He would always say and do very stupid things that everyone could laugh at.
he pissed people
Boston
off.
Rob obviously was mastermind of the gameplay and strategy. Um Andrea was attractive. I mean, I like I don't know. That's Grant was just the muscle guy, but also Boston Rob was also a muscle guy.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
right.
Grant's, by the way, 1.07 average for his season. So
It's
he
not the
at least
worst.
averaged a confessional an episode. That's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on now to the person who basically coined the phrase the purple edits, which is for not being shown on the screen like ever. We got Kelly Shin, aka Purple Kelly. Yeah, she pretty much didn't do much on the season. Um, though admittedly, I feel bad for her because she was actually told pre-game by the producers that she didn't want to really play the game. She didn't want to go out there that long. But they were like, we need a girl in a bikini, basically. Like that was their requirement, was they wanted to have a girl in a bikini. And they were like, you're gonna go out probably in like third or fourth boots, and then you would just go on a vacation. But that never happened. No one voted her out, so she was stuck out there with no clothes because they only gave her a bikini because that's all they thought she was going to do. So she's now in the survivor elements with just in a bikini, and is not really wanting to play the game, but she's in such a great position because she just ends up kind of being in a good position in this game, that she ends up quitting with Nyanka, which immediately makes Survivor not want to edit her at all because
Yeah.
because of that very big infamous quit, and she's not as big of a character as Nayanka was, so
No.
it didn't really have much. Like her best confessional is like, you just gotta milk the milk.
I don't even remember that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I remember
that's her biggest confessional of the whole season.
for me, it's like, I remember her because she quit and because of
Yeah,
the phrase Purple Kelly.
yes,
Also, Purple Kelly is a very catchy nickname, but at
yeah,
the same time, like, you know, the other Kelly who was also, a leg amputee, she had a much
yeah,
better story and stuff like that. She wasn't even Purple Kelly wasn't even the best Kelly. And
yeah.
we've had billions of Kellys on this show.
Yeah.
Kelly Wigglesworth,
I
Kelly
don't even, yeah,
Wentworth.
she's not even a top 10 Kelly.
It's like I'm sorry, Purple Kelly, if you watch this. I don't know how
Yeah,
many
as I said, that's why I want I like at least saying like what her story actually was, because it's a pretty like unfortunate like situation that happens to her, and because of it she's kind of become the butt of a joke for most Survivor players.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame her. I hate the cold.
Yeah,
There are some times where I won't go and do things because it's too cold out. And
yeah,
I'm talking like maybe 50 degrees where I'm like, no. Uh,
yeah. Yeah, well, I know nowadays they have a very strict policy because a lot of the girls spoke up about how they were basically being forced to go out there with no clothes, while guys are allowed to basically wear whatever they want.
I can wear suits,
Yeah, yeah,
you
they
know?
can wear suits, they can wear coats, sweatshirts, like that's all very like normal, but they wouldn't want to give girls a lot of this kind of stuff because they wanted to not cover them up, which was not nowadays that's not okay. So, and
You,
I mean it impacts game, like it makes it hard for a lot of the girls to actually play the game because all they can focus on is I'm about to like die of hypothermia now.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, we'll see if Kelly can do it. I know she's been on the channel before. We'll see how she
yeah.
does this time. Moving on to someone else who innovated the game, who has done something that we are still seeing in modern day Survivor, Ryan. We got Stacy Kimball, who created the safe vote strategy, which is the strategy of voting for someone because you know that they aren't going to get an idol play for them, but it still hurts the side that you're trying to target. Um, which is something every Survivor player who thinks an idol is in play talks about using the strategy. And somehow Stacey Kimball did it. Like she should have been on Game Changers with that kind of play, you know?
I mean, let's be honest. They just slapped a title on that season because it was like an all-star season, but they were like,
Yeah.
well, we can't just call it all-star too, because we've brought back people and we just brought back people for something. The game changers.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be weird if they did an All Stars 2 now because we've had so many All Star seasons not called All Stars.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, there's just usually like some sort of like theme. Case in point, like, half the
Yeah.
brand steals we've done on our channel. I don't know, in modern Survivor, where the seasons are named after like, what season number it is, kind of like Big Brother, you know, I still like, if it's like, Survivor 50, it's there might be a little tagline, but I don't think it was going to be Survivor 50, the 50th season.
Mhm.
Um, I know, like, with New School Survivor, there's been a lot of talks of like, will we see another returnee season on 45 or 46, things like that. But you never know, because using the first three seasons of New School, as I dub it, and then like with us getting 44, and by the time this comes out in like a month and some change,
Mhm.
um, it's really hard to. I guess it's like we kind of have an idea of where everything is going, but at the same time, production change, it is a thing where, it's an ever evolving game where they always want to try new things. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Stacy had a average of 0.92 on her season. I don't think I said anything about Purple Kelly. Also, she was at 0.45 average for her season. Um, So yeah, I'm interested to see how Stacey does. I mean, as I said, she did create an evolution of strategy that is still used today, which is impressive, especially from someone who I think most Survivor fans would, if you said who guess who Stacey Kimball is, I don't think they're able to pull who this person is out of the out of their brain.
I may have been one of those people. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie, but I mean, like,
exactly.
because this was also when things were kind of new, and Fort Fiji is not well regarded
Yeah.
amongst this. It's usually in people's bottom five seasons.
Yeah. I forget what most things happen. I basically just remember the dream stuff and Earl getting all the votes. Like that to me, that's the only things I really take away from that season. So it totally makes sense that you forget what Stacy was doing out there. But yeah, definitely we'll see. Maybe she can become an icon on our channel. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, next up, someone from one of the most popular seasons of Survivor. And, it seems like she also had a pretty big impact on the season, yet she
Yeah.
only got 1.69 average confessional counts or average confessionals. We got Trish from Cagayan, who was honestly, she's the reason Tony wins that season. Like, she puts out every fire that Tony creates because Tony plays such a chaotic game in Cagayan,
Yep.
and she is there to talk to everyone and let them know that don't worry, don't get mad at Tony, get mad at them. Like let's not worry about it. It's just a game, everyone. Let's just keep playing the game. And
Yeah.
she wanted to go to the end with Tony, like that was her plan, but gets taken out at final five. So she makes a deep run, despite not having as many
Uh,
confessionals as you'd imagine. Uh,
yeah. Which is it is strange because like when I saw her on the list, I was like, really? Especially, she got a bunch in the beginning because she was one of the people that was like voted not voted out, but like when they chose the leader and the leader's like, who's the weakest link? And Trish was one of those people.
yeah.
Yeah, it is, kind of like in the same vein as Courtney, where I was like, huh, because yeah, it's just like it's one of those little facts that would surprise you. She also has, and I mean this with the most respect possible, she has a very memorable line in there when she compares coconuts to a body part of another contestant. And it could be my male brain just, but like when I think of like her, that is like one of the quotes that come to mind. That and her final tribal council, where she, really puts Tony on the spot. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I needed to get an older woman. Well, the other four girls that I have here are, on the younger end. So I wanted to try to have more of the matriarchal figure to
yeah.
kind of round out this tribe here. So yeah, we'll see how Trish does. Yeah, that's gonna do it here for my tribe. Let's move on to yours.
All right, first up, we have Aaron Meredith from season 39, Island of the Idols. Now, that season, obviously, there was a lot going on. And despite all the controversy, there was a lot of great players there. And Aaron was one of them, in my opinion. And he stands out to me. I think he does seem like, like a tough guy and stuff, but I'd say like the thing that kind of like always sticks in my mind with him is the stuff about his socks and how, he has his kid and everything. And like, yeah, he was using that for strategy so people wouldn't think that he was all, tough and strategy and whatnot. But like, it is a memorable part and a nice thing to come out of that season. A very, very loving dad.
Yeah,
Um,
that is honestly a great strategy. If you think that people are going to perceive you one way, try to get some piece of clothing that could maybe make people think, oh, actually, there's more to this person than what we might see from the offset. Because I remember when we did our draft, he was like the last person that got drafted. Like neither of us really wanted him on our season on our team.
Yeah.
Which we were definitely going a lot more just kind of like who's winning the season. We did not think that he had any chance of winning that season. Um,
Yeah.
but he ends up winning those first two immunities on the season as a bigger guy who we have seen a lot of bigger guys not be necessarily great in the immunity sections because they start losing muscle mass at a much more rapid rate because they're just
Yeah.
not getting the sustainability that you need for a lot of the bigger guys. But he
Yeah.
was able to still do it.
Yeah. Um, yeah. That's why I chose him. I was like, all right, there's some merit to him. And I feel like, I'd say all except for maybe one person. um, there's like merit to their gameplay and whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah. All right, next up from the previous season from 39, 38, Edge of Extinction, we got Aurora McCreary. Now, Aurora, you know, Edge of Extinction was during one of those times where I was super busy, so I didn't remember too much from it, other than obviously Chris Underwood's win, Rick Devens, and also, it being one of the first returnee seasons where none of the returnees made it to the finale, as well as and having Wentworth and everything.
Mhm.
And having, I think, a much better version of Redemption Island. Um, and yeah, so she would always pop up on a lot of people's lists and stuff. And then rewatching it, she had a few I don't remember people's confessional count. I had the only one is probably JP, which I think is 2 point or at 0.5.
Mhm.
And Meehan and
Yeah,
Noel
I
were
might be able to. Did you put it in your list that you sent me?
I
You
believe
did.
so.
You did. So wait, real quick. Where's Aaron? Aaron had two confessional average. Aurora had a 1.2 average.
Yeah, which is we because she won a few immunities and she was someone that was definitely fighting and whatnot. And I feel with 38, one, it's kind of in the same vein of Redemption Island, where a lot of returnees are obviously going to get a lot of screen time. And then also there's the thing of there was a lot of big personalities on that season. Funny
Mhm.
enough, there's someone else who's on this list, as you can plainly see, who kind of falls in the same vein. Though for him, it was a different kind of strategy, one that I use all the time, the sleeper threat. But we'll get to him in a little bit. But yeah, Aurora is a very popular person. I feel like if there's a second chance or something, if that is something she wants to do, I can see her coming back because she
Mhm.
does have a lot of fans.
Yeah, I thought she was definitely interesting on the season as well. She was a bit of the heel for Rick Devon for a while. They were kind of like she was someone who was really trying to get him out, and it just could never happen. So it always felt like she was really trying to push for that for most of the time, whereas almost everyone else was like, we need to get rid of Rick Devon, but also let's have a backup plan in case Rick Devons does something.
Yeah, as he loves to do.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, we'll see how Aurora does here.
All right, next up we have from Survivor Cook Islands, season 13. We have Becky Lee, who is a zero vote finalist. And the thing is, it's and she even says too, it's her and Yule were pretty much playing the game with each other the entire time. And Yule got a lot more of the credit. And I think, and that's also partially due to, Yule having the one of the first individual immunity idols that were broken back then because it was kind of basically what we would consider a super idol now. So they had to nerf it because clearly, um, for the past two seasons where it was used, you know, uh, people wouldn't target them because it was well, what's the point? They're just gonna, someone else is gonna go home anyway. and it
Mhm.
could be me. So like, you'll, even though I do regard him as a really great winner and everything, I do have to acknowledge that the first immunity or individual, or the first hidden immunity idol, one of them, like its first iteration
Mhm.
was broken in that regard. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the one in Guatemala.
Yeah, the,
Um,
the super idol, I believe people like to refer to it as,
yeah,
because it is the strongest version of the idol we have ever seen. It's yeah, I feel like most people who talk about like their favorite winners or the best winners will usually have Yule maybe in like the bottom, like the out of the top 10, like in a top 10 list, they'll probably put
usually 9 or 10.
ninth, yeah, around there. And it's not necessarily because Yule's played a bad game. It's because you kind of have to take a little bit out
Grain of
of
salt.
it
But
because
yeah,
yeah, I mean, he used it very great. Like he used it without having to use it, which I think if he had to use it near the end of the game, I think he would be maybe not even in the top 10. Like honestly, I feel like he could have, they would have been like, that's he doesn't deserve it. But yeah, I mean, he was a good player. He's able to get Becky, Ozzy, and Sundra to basically reunite because of it, and
yeah,
then being able to pull Penner in because of it. Um, so yeah, also Becky here, on our channel before had a pretty big alliance with Adam Klein. Um, so yeah, I think her big breakout one season there was with that. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, she also wins that amazing fire making challenge.
It's one of the longest ones ever.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. All right. So I'm glad to have you back. Now the next one is from the previous season. It just, how that all just panned out. It's funny, and it's the only time it really happens. But we have Bruce Kanagai, or Kanagai. I haven't heard his last name out loud, so I'm just guessing. Uh, but he was someone where Panama came out with a lot of great contestants. Like obviously we got Shane, we got Sari, we got Terry, and so like you had some kind of like iconic people to come from that. Um, and so like Bruce, he never. I appreciate the guy because he never was like in. He was never like in. Like there was one time where he and another contestant were like, "Let's just get drunk in the porta potty because like screw these people." But like there were some like things that he tried to do to you know um, make himself at home, like making the Zen garden and stuff like that. And then unfortunately he was medevaced, and so like kind of saved Terry as a result. But at the same time, like he had the super idol. But yeah, I like Bruce, and I always kind of like, I'm like, oh, it's always one of those like survivor what ifs
Mhm.
where usually those kind of play into a lot more of like strategy, like Wu like Wu choosing Tony over Chaos Cass is like probably the biggest survivor what if in history. But I
Mhm.
feel like people that are like hurt and whatnot and medically evacuated, they're also really big what ifs in their own regard.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed. I feel like Bruce has a very good chance of making it to the end and being the runner up and losing to whoever he ends up sitting with in that situation. I'm not sure who would have ended up being there, potentially, like a Aris or a Danielle goes out where Bruce ends up going out and totally shifts how the game is going to be played at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a game changing medevac right there. So I know Bruce has been on the channel before. We'll see how he does this time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next up, also from season 38, Edge of Extinction, we got Gavin Whitson, and he is someone I've brought back before, mostly because like he plays a really good game. He plays a really good sleeper threat game.
Mhm.
It's just that, and some people are like, nah, he should have won over Chris Underwood, because Chris Underwood only played one of the biggest controversial winners ever, and like he's the runner up in that. And yeah, so he kind of got, because he was a sleeper threat in that, means he's going to be under edited. And it also kind of like same thing with with Aurora, where there's just a lot of big personalities going on, play where they had four returnees come in, and there was a lot of like leaders or people kind of like trying to take the game in their own direction, like War Dog, like and stuff like that. And so like Gavin always kind of like kept his cool, and he kind of knew how to like vote and where to vote.
Yeah, yeah, he was he played basically what you would consider your just typical average like solid game. But Chris had, he just had all of that time on the edge to basically bond with a bunch of people who are going to be voting for the winner.
Yeah,
And then has one of the best final like 5 days of Survivor you basically could. And ended up getting the votes because of that. So it is definitely an interesting like what happens if Chris never returns to the game? Are they still able to get out Rick Devens? Is Gavin sitting there at the end with say Aurora and Julie in the end instead, or Victoria? I guess Victoria also could have easily won if she was sitting at the end as well. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
another big sleeper threat.
yeah,
That
exactly.
makes sense.
So it's definitely another one of those what ifs. What if they weren't playing Edge of Extinction? What if they were playing a typical season? Um, could Gavin still have done it? Who knows? But he was playing a solid game. He just didn't have the edge to support him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got John J.P. Hilselbeck from guess what season? Not you. I know you know. The people at home.
To be
Yeah,
fair, I forgot about this guy.
that's why I brought him. He was the one person I'm like, all right, I don't want to just bring people that are everyone knows. I need to kind of bring someone that is very under-edited, and I think he is the lowest person I got on here.
Mhm,
He's from Survivor 35, Triple H. And yeah, I think part of it was one, there was a lot of like big personalities on there and a lot of interesting people on that season. And two, he just didn't really stand out that much. I'd say the only thing I remember from him, other than being a big guy, is when he had to pull his pants down to show that he didn't have an idol. Um, he wasn't that memorable,
mhm.
and yeah, I was kind of like, all right, let's get someone from 35, and I'm like, I need someone that kind of low. Here we go, JP.
Yep. Yeah, I honestly have no idea. When I was having to find people, I couldn't find this guy on the brand steel for a while because it's not under JP. And I was like, okay, what does JP stand for? John Paul. I looked it up, couldn't find a John Paul Hilsenbeck. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go John Hilsenbeck. So I literally actually went to like the season just to figure out exactly to find him because he was hard to find even on the brand steel. So that is saying something.
Oh, that makes it a little bit. That makes it even worse. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give him a sympathy rooting for in this because I'm like, you know, uh, sympathy root for JP.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. It looks like you had sent me that he had .5 average confessional for his season. So yeah,
yeah,
definitely not shown very often.
no, no. All right, next up, we have someone that was very iconic on our channel for a while,
Mhm,
and the best fan, or like the fan that placed the highest on Micronesia fans versus favorites, the first one, and that's Natalie Bolton, an alternate for heroes versus villains, which I'm still like, she could have definitely took someone's place on there.
yeah.
um but like Natalie Bolton, also I wanted to bring her back because it's been so long since we've had her on the channel, and then also like with how how impressive in a season where a lot of the fans didn't stick out, and if they did, maybe not for the right reasons. And I can even say that with Eric in the sense where he was definitely the best fan out of the fans, but Eric has the iconic dumbest move in Survivor up until that point, which is giving away individual immunity.
$1 million life lesson.
Yeah. um so yeah. Want to bring Natalie back, and yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see her again. Yeah, it's been a while since she's been on her channel, so we'll see how she does.
A hot while. So yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Next up, from our most recent season of Survivor, the actual show, uh, we have Noelle Lambert. And I wanted to bring someone, for her, especially like how much like pre-press she got and stuff, and like how obviously being above the knee amputee and a Paralympian and stuff, that was a lot of big. That was a really big. I don't want to say selling point, but like that's a big marketing thing, and stuff for like Survivor and stuff. And so like she had a lot of like attention on her going into the game, and to realize that like she didn't really get that big of an edit was a little bit surprising to me.
Mhm. Yeah, and that was kind of the fan sentiment was everyone kept feeling like she was, a big part of the show, like of every episode. But then you actually look at the confessional counts, and she was getting goose egg. She was getting maybe one confessional in episodes, and you're kind of like, what? But she was so important on the episode, yet she was, honestly only getting a couple of confessionals here or there. She is the has the most confession or the best average of this whole season with a 2.2, so she just barely qualifies for the
Yeah,
underedited. So she's sliding right on by here. So we'll see how she does. I still think that her reward win is one of those like high moments of modern Survivor. Um,
agreed. I told her
so
that.
so yeah, I definitely want to see how she does.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Next up, we have a winner from one
Yeah,
of our previous seasons.
yeah. We
Uh,
have your winners at the end of your list.
yeah, yeah, but we're gonna give some love to Reed Kelly right now. He was in San Juan del Sur, and he was in our All's Fair Love and War and won that season. And he was someone where he was another one where I looked up the numbers, and it was a thing of like him coming from a tribe that barely lost. Because if we look at San Juan's del Sur, it was mostly one tribe that was losing everything, and it's also kind of like why Kelly Wentworth in her first season didn't get a lot of screen time either. It was because like the blue tribe on that season was like hardly ever going to tribal council, um, which is kind of like when I look back, I'm like, huh, because I remember Reed being a big part in a lot of stuff. And obviously, comparing one of the finalists to an evil stepmom and stuff, and having one of the most vicious
Yeah.
final tribals as a jury member, and also doing a split after winning immunity. He he's one of the people I remember most from San Juan del Sur, and a standout in my opinion. So like to see that that average was a little low, I was like, huh. It was a little odd to me.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in him because of his win on All is Fair in Love and War, as that was one of our top brand stealers that we've ever done. And to be fair, he didn't necessarily have like a big standout performance on himself. It was a lot of, especially Figgy. Figgy was,
Yeah,
playing a very big, ostentatious game, and gets to the end with Reed. Yet Reed, I mean, must have had a crazy good final tribal to basically make Figgy look like she she didn't really know what she was doing or something.
I
Um,
mean, maybe partially due to Figgy playing so recklessly at that one point
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, you got lucky.
yeah. Well, she gets in from Redemption Island both times.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, yeah, risky gameplay.
yeah,
It may have worked
and
out,
then
but
wins the final few immunities to get the like.
yeah,
But I want to see Reed have a game, not necessarily like as big as Figgy, but I want to see him actually have that high level gameplay that you want out of a winner of a high level season.
yeah, yeah. All right. Last, certainly not least, we have Tori Meehan. And she did win our 42 prediction.
Mhm.
She was my winner pick
Yeah, yeah. You
for
got told. You got
42.
told on the Brant Steel prediction.
I think, I think may have been part of it. Also, it's Ryan's crushes and whatnot. Um, and then the fact that she played a Survivor game, like Sequester previously, that I'm like, okay, she has like some experience with it. Granted, you watched the season and you kind of knew what kind of player she was.
Yeah, I was pulling some question marks about her gameplay because of it.
Yeah, and so I went in and I had a little buyer's remorse. She was still entertaining on that
Yeah.
season, but she did kind of get put on the back burner. Even though she had some pretty fun moments throughout it. Um, but yeah, so she had like two things, and the thing is, you Joe, when we were going through this season and whatnot, he was like, "Hey, Tori Meehan is one of the people," and I'm like, "All right, let me get someone that I kind of wanted." The
Mhm.
potential of another Survivor player to be a two-time winner, and this was before I was making, and this is before I chose Reed. This is like when I was one thing that I also learned, which is I wouldn't say learned, but reminded of females were not always as heavily edited, especially in the past, as much as males. So, I was kind of reminded of that. But, I started with the girls first, mostly because, unfortunately, they were the easiest ones to find.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Tori Meehan. She'll be entertaining. And if she's a two-time winner on our channel, at least I have.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean she had a pretty fun win when she won, and even her returns, like she does seem like her Brant Steel self is much more self-aware of what's going around her tribe than how her Survivor self was. So yeah, I mean I when I saw that she was in the criteria of underrated player, immediately I was just like, okay, let me just let
Nudging
Rebecca
Ryan.
know, because I know Ryan will he would bring her, and I think I want to see her again. Like it's um even Russell Hand said like she's someone who needs to play again. Like she's probably like top the list from 42 to play again.
I wouldn't say the top of it. She definitely needs to come back at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That does it. Let's do top three from each tribe then.
All right. Since we're here on Edie, I'd say my top three is probably the two winners because it'd be fun to have another two-time winner, and it never happened within the same series before.
Hmm.
Where we would have like two-time winners within the same series.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be interesting, and we might have a possibility of one of those being a guy.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm also going to give. I I want to say Noel, but I also want to say JP. But I even kind of was like, oh, JP just kind of got screwed, and I think what will put him just slightly above Noel. Noel is an honorable mention. Slightly above Noel is the fact that your story of not being able to find this guy um, on our brand steel uh, made it made me kind of like feel bad for him a little bit and like, all right, I kind of want you to do okay here.
That's nice. Okay. For me, I mean, I'm choosing all girls here actually on your tribe. I'm choosing Natalie, Noelle, and Tori. I want to
All right.
see those three do really well on your tribe.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. And then over here on my tribe, the Malolo tribe, I would probably say my top three would be Dave Ball. I'll go Chad Crittenden, and I'll also go I'm gonna give it to Trish. I'll give Trish the third spot there.
All right. For me, on your tribe, I'm gonna do what you did, where it's all gonna be girls. Courtney Yates, who was my favorite out of your entire tribe. If I were to, honestly, like I had to find reasons for my other two picks. For the story and how Stacy was like the founding mother of the split vote strategy, or like the safety vote.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose her, and then also Trish, because I was surprised, same as Courtney, of like, wait, what? She didn't have that much confessionals.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, there you go. You got our favorites there. Let's get into this then. Courtney is chosen as the leader for the Malolo tribe, and Becky is chosen as leader. And Grant and Dave compete for Malolo tribe as runner and puzzle solver. And JP and Gavin compete for the Navidi tribe. And the Malolo tribe wins reward. They win a massive shelter building kit and 20 eggs and flints.
Man, these days, 20 eggs is like, that's a really big reward now.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, it's I mean that's two eggs per person.
yeah. I mean, like, wow, that's like a
And
dollar.
episode one, Trish has found the hidden immunity idol.
Well, good honor.
Wow, we like never see someone immediately find an idol.
Nah.
Yeah, see, look
Nope.
at that. Okay, the Malolo tribe wins immunity. They also win Flint and can send one player to Ghost Island. This player will not attend tribal council, and they are sending Aaron. So Aaron is safe and going to Ghost Island.
All right.
He can wager his vote for a chance to win. He does wager his vote and wins the secret advantage. This is the legacy advantage that can be used when either 13 or 6 castaways are remaining.
It's cursed.
It's a
You've been
cursed.
cursed.
Honestly, you want to be given it. You don't want to be the
Oh,
one to find it on day one.
yeah. All right. So we gave it to Grant.
And Chad and Grant have a major fight. Oh, did Chad for some reason think he was getting the legacy advantage?
I don't know how, because they wouldn't know. They're not self-aware of the simulation they're on. Or
Yeah, I
maybe
don't know.
they are.
Maybe Grant just like whips it out in front of everyone. It's like, look at this, everyone. Someone gave me a legacy advantage. And Chad's like,
Oh, good for you.
what
Good
did
for
you
you.
say?
Good for you.
I didn't play with these kind of things. I played with no idols. I played with no advantages.
No.
Carl has a major meltdown.
See, fighting
And then he has a major fight with Grant.
Grant. This is why you keep things hidden.
Oh boy. Courtney works hard at camp and becomes tired.
Well,
Good on her. Becky and Tori have a major fight.
oh hell no.
Becky and Noelle find something in common.
Okay.
And a new alliance forms between Becky, JP, and Noelle.
All right. They're making moves. They're making moves. Now I'm worried for Tori.
Yeah, Tori did just fight with Becky. This could still be Becky going home. Maybe
Uh,
Tori still able to get numbers.
it was an alliance of three, so
Yeah.
there is that. I don't. Or it could be someone totally different throughout here. It's hard to really say right now.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. First vote goes to Bruce. Second vote goes to Reed. Third vote goes to Bruce. Fourth vote goes to Reed. Fifth vote goes to Bruce. Sixth vote goes to Bruce. And Bruce is the first boot of the season.
All right, who's screwed?
So Natalie was voting with Bruce. So she is now on the outs.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that's not good. Um, okay, let's go over here. And Aaron
Okay.
finds the hidden immunity idol.
Good on him.
Okay. And the Malolo tribe wins immunity. They also win chairs, pillows, blankets, and a washboard.
I'm gonna get decimated, aren't I?
It's only the second immunity, Ryan. So I
I
think we're
get
getting a twist next episode.
I get nervous.
Yeah. And Gavin is going to go silent and will not go home. Okay. Carl and Dave bond strongly.
Okay.
Aurora and Natalie bond slightly. As Becky leaves the three-person alliance, and a new alliance formed with Aaron, Becky, and Noelle.
Are they are they blindsiding JP?
I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting. Yeah, it's basically just Becky does not want to be a part with JP anymore, but
It's
creates a
like
new alliance.
I want a muscle guy that got some screen time.
Yeah. Oh man. I guess maybe she fell in love with Aaron Socks.
Yeah. JP has a man tear just come down. So I can't help the edit.
Okay. Are we saying JP then?
Yeah.
First vote goes to Natalie. Second vote goes to Natalie. Third vote goes to JP. Fourth vote goes to Natalie. Fifth vote goes to JP. Sixth vote goes to Natalie. And
Damn.
Natalie, second out. And Aurora votes against JP, so now she's on the outs.
Yeah, this twist is gonna be pretty important right now.
Yeah, this you gotta get a good shake for your tribe here. Okay. Let's see. The new Malolo tribe is Aaron, Aurora, Chad, Chelsea, Dave, Grant, Noel, Tori, and Trish.
Okay.
And then the new Navidi tribe is Artis, Becky, Carl, Courtney, Gavin, JP, Kelly, Reed, and Stacy.
Well, I'm not really in the numbers on either one.
Yeah, this
Um,
is actually worst case scenario because if my tribe just decides to stay together, it can still be decimation on your side.
I'd say the only thing that kind of helps with that, like Aaron and Noel, they're both in an alliance. Um, Aurora, I think her best strategy at this point is just flop with your tribe and just be like, hey, yeah, I was on the outs. Let's get them out. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, this is you know, whenever you're down in numbers, you kind of hope that one side only has a couple of your people and then all of the rest of your people is on one tribe to get the majority. But that did not happen. Okay, let's see here.
All the advantages are on that tribe.
Yeah, they got everything right now. Okay, there's nothing that Navidi can really do but play the game. And they do. They win immunity. They also win a tarp. The winning tribe can send one player to Ghost Island. The player will not attend tribal council. So you want to send one of my people to make it even.
Yeah. Will they?
They choose Aurora. Well, no, no, not great for your side. She was a flipper. She could have flipped, so maybe they stopped the flipper. Okay, Aaron and Trish have a major fight.
Okay,
So the
so
idol
that's
people are going at it. And Noel has a major meltdown. But don't worry, Reed is impressing the rest of the team.
Good for you, Reed.
Okay, who is going home here?
I don't know if Aaron plays his idol. This could be something that could change the tide.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I'd say it is up in the air, and we're just assuming that they are going by tribal divisions
yeah,
as well.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think I see Aaron getting the votes here, but it's just, does he play the idol correctly? Trish uses her idol, and then Aaron uses his idol on Noel.
Interesting.
First vote goes to Dave. Oh my
You
god.
both pissed it
Both
away.
idols. We just wasted two idols and none of them were right.
Well, damn.
Second vote goes to Grants. Third vote goes to Dave. Fourth vote goes to Grants. Fifth vote goes to Dave. Sixth vote goes to Grant. Seventh vote goes to Dave. Eighth vote goes to Grant. We are tied.
Okay. So if it ties again, they would not have been played in vain.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it could still backfire on Aaron because he played on Noel. So if they go
Yeah,
to Rocks and he goes out, that will be very sad.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Uh, okay. First vote goes to Dave. Second vote goes to Dave. Third vote goes to Dave. No. Fourth vote goes to Grant. Fifth vote goes to Grant. Come on. Sixth vote goes to Grant. Dave is
Oh God.
safe.
Oh no. I'm not a fan of this.
Okay. Well, this is great for me because out of the people who I have, Trish is safe. Grant and Dave, who are people of mine, are safe. So I
Tori is vulnerable. Aaron is vulnerable.
yeah.
Tori goes home because of this.
Yeah, so Aaron, so I have Chad and Chelsea as potential people. You have Aaron and Tori. Okay. Who is going home third boot by Rocks? Chad. Oh.
I can breathe. I was just prepared for Brant Steele to just be cheeky.
Well, my first casualty comes from Rocks. Yeah, no one wanted to budge on their original votes. And because of that, uh Chad ended up going out. Chad and Noel not voting together either, so they didn't even want to work together. So
No.
that never came to be.
All right, so things are a little bit more even on that tribe.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Moving on here. Who wins reward? The Malolo tribe wins reward. They win peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with ice cold milk. And the winning tribe can send one player to Ghost Islands who will return for the immunity challenge. And they choose Stacy. She can wager her vote. She does and wins the secret advantage, which is an extra vote power that can be used up at one tribal council up until final six.
Really good one.
Yep. And the Malolo tribe wins immunity. They
All
are
right.
safe. I am happy about that.
Yay, Tori.
Grant and Tori bond slightly. And Noel leaves the alliance of Becky and Aaron. And Reed finds the hidden immunity idol.
All right.
Okay. Purple Kelly and Stacy have a minor disagreement.
Hmm.
And Artis and Stacy bond strongly. And Carl and Stacy find something in common.
This is
And a
not good
new
for.
alliance forms between artists Carl, Gavin, JP, Reed, and Stacy.
We're just gonna name this alliance Stacy and the Boys.
She's just got herself around a bunch of strapping men and is gonna just have them be the muscle, and she'll be the social brains to get to the end, I guess.
Yeah. Oh wait, is he injured? Okay,
No,
he's good.
Gavin works hard at camp and becomes tired. So wait, who's not in this alliance?
Let's see. Purple Kelly for
Yeah, Purple
starters.
Kelly is definitely not. Here, can I? Uh,
I mean, we're about to go to tribal. Um. Oh no, Courtney
yeah, Courtney's not. Purple
and
Kelly's not.
Becky.
And Becky. Yeah. So it's basically Stacy has just got all the guys and then has excluded the rest of the girls.
So yeah, this I'm predicting it might be either Courtney or Kelly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Purple Kelly just because I don't want it to be Courtney, but Courtney has also had a really bad track record on our
That's why.
Survivor.
That's why.
Okay. First vote goes to Courtney. Second vote goes to Purple Kelly. Third vote goes to Purple Kelly. Fourth vote goes to Courtney. Fifth vote goes to Purple Kelly.
Just getting rid of the blondes.
Sixth vote goes to Courtney. Seventh vote goes to Purple Kelly. Eighth vote goes to Courtney. One vote left. And Courtney, yet again, cannot get out of a Survivor Simulator in out of the pre-merge. She is our worst performing Survivor Simulation contestant we've ever had.
Yeah, I think when we first made our when he went through everyone way back when it was much easier to make a list of that, she was, if not, I think she was the bottom contestant on that.
Yeah, it was either her or Sierra. Those two both had like played like 3 times or so and never got past like the third boot. So she did technically make it further than her other Survivor showing, but
Oh,
not
Courtney, I'm
great.
sorry.
Okay, let's see how these votes came out. So artists Becky, Gavin, JP, and Purple Kelly voted Courtney. Carl, Courtney, Reed, and Stacy voted Purple Kelly.
Mm,
This definitely felt like the majority alliance just splitting votes. Like they had so
yeah,
much numbers. I think they just said we can split votes, tell each them to vote for this person, and then they'll
yeah.
decide it.
It was Stacy's idea.
Yep.
Stacy and the boys like, I got this.
Stacy is currently playing a strategic mastermind game by getting the guys together. See, guys can't get together on their own in Survivor. You got to have someone else, like a girl, has to bring the guys together because otherwise it feels too much broy. You need to have at
Yeah,
least one girl in there.
yeah.
Okay. And the Malolo tribe wins reward. They win coffee and pastries and sending Stacy back to Ghost Island, which I believe, yeah, there's nothing to be found there. And the Malolo tribe wins immunity again.
Good for them.
Good on them. And Noelle finds the hidden immunity idol.
Nice, nice.
Chelsea and Tori find something in common. And a new alliance forms between Aurora, Chelsea, Tori, and Trish. So the girls now,
Apart
besides
from
Noelle.
Noel.
Yeah.
So this one is three blondes and Chelsea,
Okay.
or
Oh,
three blondes and a redhead.
Stacy and the guys dissolves.
No,
Well, that
but it
was,
was such a good name.
I know, right? And now it's gone out. It was a 1 vote alliance, apparently.
I
Um,
actually think it might be Stacy
yeah, Stacey, is she in trouble now for seeming like
being,
she's controlling the game?
or for just being on Ghost twice. And it's like, all right, she has something. She
Yeah.
definitely has something.
Little does everyone know, it's only an extra vote power, which is really only good when there's a few people on the tribe.
Yeah.
Okay. First vote goes to Gavin. Second vote goes to JP. Third vote goes to JP. Fourth vote goes to Gavin. Fifth vote goes to Gavin. Sixth vote goes to Gavin. And Gavin is voted out. Who it was Purple Kelly voted with
Uh-huh.
Gavin.
Wait.
Oh, Stacey also used her extra votes.
Stupid.
Not needed there, Stacey. She just wanted to do a safe vote. That was her new version of the safe vote was just make sure you stack on more votes.
Oh my god. And she could have used that for this
I
because
know.
now the tribe divisions are going to be five a pop.
Yeah, this would have now been very good to have an extra vote. As the new Malolo tribe is Chelsea, Dave, Kelly, Reed, and Trish. New Navidi tribe is Artist, Aurora, Becky, Carl, and Tori. And the Yanuya tribe is Aaron, Grant, JP, Noel, and Stacy. This
All
feels
right.
like I would hate to have to face this group in an immunity challenge.
It does seem the very comp heavy one.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So Reed by himself as original tribal stance there.
Yeah.
Does have Kelly. Maybe Kelly can bring some in there, but also I think Kelly is a bit more on the outs. I don't know if she's going to be able to help Ray. I think Ray's just got to try to throw Kelly under the
The
bus.
battle of the Kellys.
Yeah, yeah, Kelly Shin versus Reed Kelly. And then the Navidi tribe, we got Artis and Carl who are on the outs against the girls here, but yeah, I'm not sure if they're if are the girls going to be able to stick together and take out Artis and Carl. I'm not sure.
I don't know. And
Okay,
then the dream team.
yeah, this tribe it will be kind of ridiculous, I think, if if they're losing challenges. Okay, and you do nope. And the Yanua tribe wins immunity first, of course. And the Navidi tribe wins immunity. They are safe.
Nice.
So that puts Reed as the Battle of the Kellys with no events occurring.
He has an idol though.
No events occurred on the Navidi tribe. And does something happen here? Aaron has a major meltdown. Noelle rests at camp to restore her energy. And JP shockingly quits the game.
Why?
We're on the tribe with a free track to the merge.
He was probably like, I still feel like I'm being under edited here. I'm just gonna
Oh wow, he just decides to walk off the show. He's like, I've if I'm not being edited, I'm not part of it.
I'm sorry.
Well, that saves Reed.
All right. This is the last one before the merge.
Yes. Okay. Idol is hidden. Someone can find that idol. Reward challenge. The Malolo tribe wins reward. They win a grilled chicken kebab, steaks, and spices. And the Navidi tribe wins reward. They win chicken kebabs. So now that JP's not there, the Yanua tribe is no longer the comp tribe.
No. Who are
And
they?
forcing Noelle to go silent.
Is there anything there?
She does wager her vote and wins the secret advantage, which is a vote blocker.
All right.
So she
All
can
right.
now block someone's votes. And the
Like
Agreedy
she did
tribe
in
wins immunity,
43.
and the Malolos, the Yanuya tribe, who, when they get created, should have been unstoppable. But because JP has quit, it has ruined the tribe.
Oh, JP.
He wanted to be edited. He wanted to be shown on the screen this time. He has been shown on the screen. He has had an
Well,
impact. And Aurora leaves the alliance of the girls.
okay.
And Aaron finds the Yanuya tribe hidden immunity idol.
Is he going to play it right this time?
Yes. Aaron rests at camp to restore his energy. Okay. There's only 4 people. Aaron has an idol. Noelle, she has an idol, right? Yeah, she has an
Yeah,
idol. Um, Grant's got a legacy advantage. So really, Stacy's the only person without even something in her bag right now.
true. I mean, Grant can't play
He can't
his.
use it, but maybe people know about this legacy advantage. You take out Grant, so maybe he gives you the legacy advantage.
I mean, taking him out, it just gives it to someone else. And the thing
Yeah,
is, it's like, the devil you know as opposed to the devil you don't know. If you know Grant has it, then it's fine
yeah,
where it is. I don't know. I have no idea how this one's going to shape out. We
yeah.
could
I'm
see
not sure.
someone go
We could.
with,
This is a great time also for a vote block. If you want, if you're Noel here, just take out your targets that your target can't even vote. Now it's only 3 votes. You just got to get one other person with you to vote correctly.
yeah, we'll see.
Aaron has lost his vote at this tribal council.
So I'm guessing it was blocked.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was used. First vote goes to Aaron. And Aaron
Oh,
is voted
yeah.
out with an idol.
Why didn't you just play it?
Oh,
If
yeah. If
like
you know
if
if
something
you know
like
you're
that is
not
used
voting,
on you, play your
yeah,
idol.
you guarantee yourself the merge.
God dang.
Wow. And just like that, taken out of the game right before the merge. Wow. I really thought this tribe was not going to lose anyone, and they fell
They
on.
lose both.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We have our merge now. Let's go over the top players so far.
All right. The top players. I definitely think Reed is hanging in there. He has that idol, and I think while he's not like in anything major, is still playing pretty smart. Stacy, I think, is playing pretty smart.
Mhm.
But I got to say, the best player out here, and I think the standout is Noel.
Yeah. I think Noah is definitely playing a top tier game right now. I think Stacy also. She's definitely controlling a lot of the things, maybe more behind the scenes and not doing anything crazy, big or flashy.
Yeah,
Obviously, I think those are probably the top 2. And then obviously, the winners are going to be. We're always going to be looking at them because they've done it before on our channel. So them
yeah.
being at the end alone could be scary.
Come on, Tori.
Yeah, I would say that's so far probably the standouts. I think everyone else has kind of been a little more like they're letting the game be played right now.
Yeah. I should also mention it is a 5-8. Oh, wait, no, 6-7. So you are ahead by a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I got a person lead so far, but all that can change. It's not a not it's comebackable. I'll put it
Two of
that
my
way.
two of my people got eliminated. One because Brand Seals decided they quit, and another because one didn't play his idol.
Yeah, I will say your last two eliminations have been very unfortunate for you. But I lost someone from Rock, so
Yeah, but at the same time,
yeah. Okay, let's see here. Is that really the only alliance in the game right now? Is this?
I guess so.
Okay, Grant is on Ghost Island and finds a temporary hidden immunity idol that is good for one tribal council. He can wager his vote to extend it up to 5 extra rounds, but chooses not to. So that means he can only play it at this next tribal. So he's safe on the merge votes.
Yeah. I
But
mean, he was safe regardless, but
yeah. And Dave wins first individual immunity. He did this the time that he played before and goes out right away. So I'm really hoping Dave is able to not just immediately get taken out just for winning one challenge again.
with so many people, it might be the case.
Uh, Tori has a major meltdown.
Is she leaving the alliance?
No, Trish leaves the alliance. She cannot handle Tori's craziness. It's not as crazy as Tony. It's a different meltdown for her.
Yeah,
She's not doing that again. And Becky and Reed form an alliance.
strong one nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay. Does Tori go home here? Is she the merge boot?
I think it's going to be either Tori or Trish.
Yeah, I'm putting it on Tori right now. Okay. And Reed uses his hidden immunity idol.
Okay.
Grant uses his temporary hidden immunity idol.
Anyone else?
No one else.
Okay.
First vote goes to Reed. Second vote goes to Reed. Third vote goes to Reed. Fourth vote goes to Reed. Fifth vote goes to Reed. Sixth vote goes to Reed. Seventh vote goes to Artis. Eighth vote goes to Tori.
He played it right.
Ninth vote goes to Tori. 10th vote goes to Artis. 11th vote goes to Tori.
No, 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 no.
12th vote goes to Artis. One vote left.
Come on, Tori, you can make it.
And Artis is voted out. Wow. Tori manages to survive. Oh,
Uh,
that was crazy. Well, Artis, you didn't do anything on the season. I'm sorry you very much like your actual season. Going out, early jury here.
yeah,
Didn't get to bring up your great story during the season. It's
either.
you
I mean,
just
people know it at this point.
yeah. Okay, let's see here. So Artis, Aurora, Chelsea, Stacy, Tori, and Trish voted in the majority here against Reed. Dave, Grant, Noel, and Purple Kelly voted Artis, and Becky, Carl, and Reed voted Tori. So
So
Reed
those,
Reed wanted to be the only winner here. He wanted to take out the other winner.
yeah. Well, I mean, Tori also was on that same boat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This definitely looks bad for Becky and Reed.
Mhm.
No one's found the idol on this one yet, so you know, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it definitely feels like, maybe the winners are going at each other. They want to prove that they're the better winner by surviving longer.
Exactly.
Tori finds the immunity idol.
Oh yeah.
She got scared. She got so scared after that tribal council. She just went straight into the woods after her tribal.
I would be too.
Yeah. Uh, okay, get on Tori. Okay, reward challenge. Group number one is Aurora, Carl, Grant, Noel, Reed, and Tori. Group number 2 is Becky, Chelsea, Dave, Kelly, Stacy, and Trish. And group number 2 wins reward. They win a feast of tacos, burritos, quesadillas, and margaritas. And they are sending Grant back to Ghost Islands.
Again.
Wow, this is mean.
Well, I mean, nothing's gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's there, but it's just like, sending him again.
I
Okay,
don't know.
who
Tori
will
wins
win?
this.
Immunity. Dave wins immunity. He
Good
is
for
like,
him.
I'm not letting it happen again.
He's like, I'm not letting Joe down.
I gotta win this immunity, even if I end up injuring myself and get a medevac or something. I'm gonna win this immunity.
Did you talked it into
No,
existence?
no, no, no. It can't
You
happen.
talked it into
No,
existence.
no. Reed and Tori find something in common.
We're both winners. Oh yeah.
And now I'm scared to keep going because I'm afraid to see Dave.
It's not gonna happen. Come on.
Becky is impressing the rest of the team.
All right, that's it.
And Dave and Trish bond strongly. Okay, it's a good thing.
See,
Good thing.
you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
All right. It's tricky to say. Reed definitely still has some heat on him. Maybe that was jury management. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it's still very early in the it's very early in the merge, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. I could still see the Tori Reed, like I could still see them going at each other. I
Yeah.
just don't know if it's gonna succeed. If because especially now with that Tori found an idol, I wouldn't be surprised if she just plays it on herself just because she was close to going home last time, even though she was saying the third vote count if you don't count Reed's
Yeah.
yeah. We'll see. Okay, Tori
Well,
uses her idol. First vote goes to Tori, does not count. Second vote goes to Tori, does not count. Third vote goes to Tori, does not count. Fourth vote goes to Tori, does not count. Fifth vote goes to Tori, does not count. Sixth vote goes to Tori, does not count. Seventh vote goes to Tori, does not count. Eighth vote goes to Tori, does not count. Ninth vote goes to
oh,
Stacy. 10th vote goes to Stacy. Wow.
what
That
happened to
is a
splitting the vote,
huge move.
Stacy?
That was a huge move. Wow.
She took
She
out a
was
big.
she was in control of the pre-merge. And
Yeah.
she gets idled out here by Tori.
What happened to splitting the vote?
Yeah, where's the safe vote? Oh man. So Chelsea, Grant, Tori, and Trish voted Stacy here, and everyone else voted Tori.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah. Oh, the battle of Tori and Reed continues.
That it does. Tori was like, "Not today, Satan."
Okay, let's go to a reward challenge. Group number 1 is Carl, Chelsea, Dave, Reed, and Trish. Group number 2 is Aurora, Grant, Kelly, Noel, and Tori. Becky doesn't participate and cannot win rewards. And group number 1 wins reward. They win a helicopter flight to a bluff overlooking the islands and a picnic lunch. And they are sending Noel to Ghost Island this time. She does not wager her votes. She thinks she's in a safe spot and does not want to risk it.
Yeah, but come on. You could have three. Could add another like advantage to add to your,
Her list of advantages she's had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her resume is pretty big right now.
She may win this. Dave
Dave
wins
wins again. Wow. He is popping off here. I
all
think
right.
he's
All
won
right.
like the rewards too. Like he has been a challenge beast.
You got your wish, buddy.
I finally, yeah, he's finally doing something on our brand steel. And Carl finds the Levita tribe hidden immunity idol.
Nice.
Carl and Noel have a small fight. The idols are fighting with each other. Tori is impressing the rest of the team.
I got scared for a second.
And Aurora and Trish have a major fight as a new alliance forms between Becky and Noel. They've been in the alliance before, now they're back. And Dave works hard at Cam becomes tired. That one scared me. That really scared me.
All right.
Yeah.
So this one is going to be kind of interesting because both Reed and Tori, both two of the winners, have both played an idol correctly when the majority was thinking of getting rid of them.
Mhm.
Um, so it's tough to see where that may go and the dynamic, because right now it seems like that, but things can kind of like change up.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah, it just seems like we got to get more Reed and Tori. They gotta go at blows eventually. One of them has to go out. Um,
No, they make the final two.
if they make the end together after hating each other, that would be crazy. Um, so I mean, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Reed. I'm gonna say Reed is going home here.
I think it's going to be someone that we haven't even. I think it's going to be. I'm going to say bold assumption. It's going to be Grant.
You're going with Grants, who had.
Yes,
I mean, if they know about the legacy advantage, this is a good time to take out someone and hope that you can, maybe convince him that you're good buds right before he goes out. Do a Sarah Lucina.
maybe.
No one stands. First vote goes to Tori. Second vote goes to Chelsea.
Oh no.
Third vote goes to Grant. Fourth vote goes to Tori. Fifth vote goes to Chelsea. Sixth vote goes to Grant. Seventh vote goes to Tori. Eighth vote goes to Chelsea. Ninth vote goes to Grant. Two votes left. 10th vote goes to Chelsea. 11th vote goes
Okay.
to Grant. We are now tied. Tori is not going home, or at
No,
least I think rocks can't happen in this scenario, if I'm right.
no, it's an odd number.
Yeah. So I think she's safe. So it is either Grant or Chelsea going home here.
Well, for two reasons. One, Chelsea is Tori's number one, so I want her to stay. And two, I want to be right and think my bold prediction that Grant is going. So
Yeah, that
come
would
on.
be a crazy just out of you guessed it out of just throwing an arrow somewhere.
I had a 1 in 10 shot.
Yeah. First vote goes to Grant. Second vote goes to Chelsea. Third vote goes to Grant. Fourth vote goes to Grant. Fifth vote goes to Grant.
Was that?
Sixth vote goes to Chelsea. Seventh vote goes to Chelsea. And Grant is voted out 6-3 on the revotes. Ryan, you were correct.
I did it.
You did it. Uh, well, let's see. So original vote: Becky, Dave, Grant, and Noel voted Chelsea. Carl, Chelsea, Purple Kelly, and Tori voted Grant. And Aurora, Reed, and Trish voted Tori. Interesting. Um, so yeah, and then it looks like the Tory votes just ended up going back over onto Grant there.
Makes sense. All right. So this is the episode where Um, people get it's going to be 2 tribal councils. So um, any alliance and stuff like that and advantages have huge play here. Um, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Who comes out on the other side?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's do this episode, and then after it we'll do our mid little merge kind of evaluations.
All right,
Okay. Dave wins immunity for the first group.
of course.
Uh, and Chelsea wins immunity for the second group. Now, to notice, Reed and Tori have been split up here.
Yeah, they were like, oh, okay, I know it's random, but it was like, all right, we want this rivalry to continue. So
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the
Let's
sake
split
of
them up.
plot.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Dave and Chelsea. You're safe. Chelsea's able to be another person when we meet Dave. This is his fourth immunity, I believe.
If he becomes a challenge beast this time, well, he already is, but like if he
Yeah.
has a straight run, I'm like,
Of all, who would have thought Dave Ball would be winning challenges like this?
no one.
Uh, Becky and Dave bond strongly, and then no events occurred on this tribe. They're just
This would
like
be
whatever.
this is crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much anyone but who wins immunity has a chance of going home here. So yeah,
all
Trish has
right.
the legacy advantage from Grant. So
If they're smart, they would try and get rid of Becky because she's playing a very strong game.
yeah, she's another great sleeper threat who could easily get to the end, take out the big threats near the end of the game, and walk away with it. First vote goes to Trish. Second vote goes to Purple Kelly. Third vote goes to Trish. And Trish voted out right after she receives this legacy advantage.
All right, who's she gonna give it to?
um, she's giving it
Oh,
to Chelsea.
okay.
Okay. So Chelsea now has the legacy advantage over here, but has immunity, so she can't be straight voted out.
All right. So one person is immune. 2 people have idols. I I don't think Tori makes it out of this.
I'm going to say she does. I'm going to say Aurora goes home.
Only one way to find out.
Carl uses his hidden immunity idol, and no one else. First vote goes to Carl, does not count.
Oh no.
Second vote goes to Carl, does not count. Third vote goes to Carl, does not count. He played it correctly.
Oh no.
Noel,
No!
Noel has been idled out.
With an idol in her pocket. Ah!
Why? It's we have great
Brand's
players right now going home with idols in their pockets, getting idled out early on.
Brand Steel. Come on. Come on. No. No.
It's because they want the Tory Reed plot armor of them making it far, so they're taking out anyone else who's in the way.
Brand Steel. I say no.
And yeah, so yeah, they're showing us Trish still gifting it to Chelsea there. So Chelsea, Noel, and Tori voted Carl. Aurora and Carl voted Noel. Wow. Well, Carl, you are now the villain of this season for taking out Noel. We do not want you doing well. Okay, reward challenge. Dave wins the reward.
My God. They need to stop this man.
There's the reward with Carl, Becky, and Reed.
Yeah,
And this is whoa, feast of ribs, chicken, burgers, pastries, and ice cream with their loved ones. Ooh, this is big. This was the loved ones. So now
yeah.
everyone who we didn't take here are probably gonna hate Dave. Uh, okay, and they are sending Tori to Ghost Island.
There's got to be something there for her.
She does not wager her vote.
Why? Why?
Yeah, imagine if Noelle wagered her vote. Maybe she's still in the game. Who knows?
Exactly.
Carl wins immunity. Dave,
Uh-oh.
you are in some hot water, my friend.
I don't know. Sometimes they don't play that logically. It makes the most sense to get rid of Dave, but
Yeah,
I don't trust.
he has won every challenge in the post merge so far. You do not let them get any further. Also, wait, real quick. It was called the ball drop. Is that referring to the Dave ball?
The day. Oh no. Double meaning. Foreshadowing.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Aurora and Pearl bond strongly. Chelsea and Dave find something in common. And a new alliance formed between Aurora, Carl, Chelsea, and Kelly, Purple Kelly. Tori is completely worn out, but is not giving up. And Purple Kelly is injured, but gets treated and can stay in the game. Man, if she got injured and which allowed Dave to win more challenges, it would have been
That
crazy.
would have been. All right. So Dave is not in that alliance. Neither is Reed nor Tori. And wait, was who else?
Um,
My memory's stupid.
Aurora, Carl, Chelsea, and
And
Kelly.
Becky's not in there.
And
Okay,
Becky.
so this is like, all right, we're taking down the big people now.
Yeah, this is the Goat Alliance, who
No,
have now decided to become the Power Alliance.
no, what happened is they were all like, I don't think we're going to be edited that well. I think these four are going to get more edit time and more screen time than us. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to get the screen time now.
Yeah, we're getting to the end. We're taking out all the threads right now. Survivor's going to have to edit us well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Dave's going home here. I don't think you let him play any more challenges.
Dave has to go.
Yeah. First vote goes to Dave. Second vote goes to Dave. Third vote goes to Dave.
He had a much better run, man.
Fourth vote goes to Tori. Fifth vote goes to Dave. And the ball has dropped.
The, the poetic the poeticness, the irony of all of this.
Yeah. Wow. That was yeah, of course he has to go out right when this is the challenge name. After playing a very strong game, winning 4 immunities, winning like all those reward challenges.
Just one little slip.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you try to win all the challenges. You set yourself into you have to win the challenges or you go home.
Exactly.
Okay, pair number one is Aurora and Becky. Pair number two is Chelsea and Reed. Pair number three is Carl and Tori. And Purple Kelly doesn't participate and cannot win reward as Aurora and Becky win reward and they share the reward with Chelsea. This is deliver supplies to a local Fijian school along with a meal of fried chicken and chocolate cake. And they are sending Reed to Ghost Island.
I don't think there's anything on there.
He
Oh wait,
does
there.
wager his vote and loses.
Oh no.
He will not vote. This is the chance for Tori to make a move against Reed.
I mean, you don't. I'd say it's case by case, but usually you don't say you lose a vote.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But still, I mean, Tori's been wanting to get it. They just have
Yeah,
a truce last tribal because Dave was such a big threat.
I think. Well, the underedited alliance might go after Reed
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. I think Reed's in some trouble as Becky wins immunity. It's good on Becky. And Aurora finds the hidden immunity idol.
This is not good.
Becky and Purple Kelly have a minor disagreement. And Reed works hard at camp, becomes hard. He's like, I can't vote. I'm gonna, make the food. I'm gonna, tend the fire. I'm gonna do all the things to make everyone feel good and make sure I don't go home without being able to vote.
I think it's either Reed or Tori because the alliance didn't break up or anything.
Yeah,
We would have gotten more. We lose a winner here right before the finale.
yeah, yeah. I'm going with Reed. I think this is his time. The Reed Tory rivalry lasted very long. It's been from the merge onwards. They've been at each other's throats, and now it's I think you can't make it much further.
Or can it? Let's find out.
Aurora uses the hidden immunity idol on herself. First vote goes to Reed. Second vote goes to Chelsea. Third vote goes to Reed. Fourth vote goes to Carl. Fifth vote goes to Carl.
Well, okay.
And Reed is
Okay.
voted out in a 3-2-1 vote. Okay. So Reed
Y'all
is
got to
out.
vote him in.
Okay. So let's see. So Aurora, Carl, and Purple Kelly voted Reed. Chelsea and Tori voted Carl, and Becky on her own voted Chelsea. So yeah, they just orchestrated a classic 3-2-1 here. Put three votes of the majority onto Reed. Have one other person of the alliance work with Tori, and then Becky was completely out.
Hmm.
Okay, we
All
now
right,
have
this
our
is good.
finalist. Yeah, let's break down their games.
All right, I feel the two front runners for me is Becky and Tori. I feel like because of the alliance of four, that Becky, I think both of them are kind of in trouble, but I feel like Becky is a little bit more under the radar.
Mhm,
Though I will say that the fact that Tori and Chelsea are in an alliance and they've been in this alliance for so long, uh, she might get to five.
mhm,
Um, the idol's going to be back in play. Right now, Chelsea still has that legacy, so she's guaranteed five.
mhm,
Um, and Carl, last man standing.
mhm. Yeah, had the big play against Noel, who was a front runner on the season. So, obviously that puts us wanting like looking at him as a villain, but also, you can have that as a huge resume point as like, hey, I took out someone who very well could have ran away with the season.
Yeah. And I'd say Becky, Carl, and Tori are about the three front runners right now.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely afraid for Becky and Tori because I do think that there's a good chance that the other four do team up. And
Yeah.
honestly, I have no idea what happens if three of those four end up in the finals together. Like any number of things could happen, I think.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I still feel like Carl, he's building up that resume, and I feel Chelsea and Aurora about on the same level. Maybe Chelsea is a wee bit higher. I
Mhm,
think because she has should have a guaranteed vote with Tori.
mhm.
And then the purple edit, Purple
We
Kelly.
have yet not seen her play.
No. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of the power rankings as
Okay,
disheveled as I spewed it out.
sounds good. Okay, let's see who wins immunity. Tori
Yes.
wins immunity. And she also wins a steak dinner with a baked potato, bread, and dessert, and shares it with Chelsea and Purple Kelly.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
Chelsea leaves the alliance there, so the underedited four have potentially lost some power.
she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some screen time, so bye."
Yeah, yeah. This is how I get screen time, I guess. I just gotta leave alliances. That's what Sheree did. Aurora rests at camp for store energy.
I think you take out Carl here or Becky, one of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, I think we're still losing Becky here. I think that would be in the best interest of the four, even though Chelsea just left. I think you still I mean Becky and Tori are just big threats. You can't take out Tori here. I think Becky is the easy vote who also is a
Yeah,
big threat.
I'd say if those three team up, Becky, Chelsea, and Tori, then maybe they could tie it. Uh,
Yeah,
that scroll bar looks a little thick or a little long, so
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. We can get some shenanigans maybe. Chelsea uses the legacy advantage. Any votes cast against Chelsea will not count. First vote goes to Chelsea, does not count. Second vote goes to Becky. Third vote goes to Becky. Fourth vote goes to Carl. And Becky is voted out in a 4-1-1 vote.
We lost someone great.
Yep. Hey, she had a good run.
She did. She did.
Okay. But now
Final
it's
five.
really Tori against the world.
Well, I mean, she has Chelsea.
Yeah. But even then, Chelsea's more like the swing vote. Like she's willing to play with them. She might be willing to play with Tori, but now I mean she lost I think a number for her wanting to work with Tori.
She can pull it through. Come on, Tori.
Aurora finds the hidden immunity idol.
All right.
Okay, immunity. And Chelsea wins immunity. Not looking good for Tori.
No, unless something crazy happens.
Purple Kelly
Oh,
leaves the alliance.
right. Oh,
And something
something is
happened.
cooking. Something is cooking.
Okay, either all of that is just for show for interesting TV because they're trying to be edited, or or there really is a potential turn on like a Carl here.
We'll see. And Aurora's obviously going to play her idol because last
Yeah.
time you can play it. So Chelsea and Aurora are immune. They could target Aurora and then, she plays her idol and no one knows about it. So
Mhm.
it's a surprise, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm saying we're losing either a Carl or Tori here. I'd say 70% chance Tori goes home, 30% Carl.
I'd say it's more of a 40-60, 60 being Tori.
Mhm. Okay, Aurora uses the idol. First vote goes to Tori. Second vote goes to Tori.
Come on.
Third vote goes to Carl. Fourth vote goes to Carl. One vote left. And Tori is voted out right here, so close to making it back to the end. Good run. It was a good run, but unfortunately,
I know, but
she
still.
just did not have the number. She spent too much time fighting with Reed. That she was just too big of a name.
Well, we talked it into existence.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, it's because of Purple Kelly. Purple Kelly decided to become the swing vote by leaving the alliance. So that way she could decide, yet decides to stick with
you vo- you voted for her anyway.
yeah. Well, we are now in the scenario where one of the four underrated players are winning this game. I
I
guess
don't know.
Carl is now the front runner. I don't know.
I feel like Aurora is probably the most front runnery. Then maybe Carl. then it just it's in a row. You
Yeah.
know, it's in. I don't know. I feel like there is a bit more merit to Aurora and Carl's game right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be one of these two. I'd be very surprised to see one of these two end up winning, Chelsea or Kelly. Yeah, let's see, I guess. Yeah, I mean, they're the power duo. They're
Yeah.
they're in charge. Okay, let's see who wins final immunity. And Aurora wins final immunity of the season.
All right. Who's she bringing?
Okay. She grants safety to Carl, sending Chelsea and Purple Kelly into fire. And Chelsea wins. Purple Kelly is eliminated. We have
All
our
right.
final three now.
I'm gonna say Aurora.
I want to say Aurora too, mostly because I think Carl maybe had a bit more flashier of a game, but I think he's going to have a lot of people on the jury against him. Actually, I do think that he might have some people who are not exactly thrilled with him being here.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Aurora more was playing that social game, people liked her way more than how Carl was kind of putting himself out there. So. Yeah, I think you might be right there. First vote goes to Carl. Second vote goes to Aurora. Third vote goes to Chelsea. Fourth vote goes to Chelsea. Fifth vote goes to Carl. Sixth vote goes to Aurora. Seventh vote goes to Chelsea. Eighth vote goes to Carl. Ninth vote goes to Aurora. We're tied. They all have three right.
One vote left.
And it goes to Aurora in a 4-3-3 vote.
All right. All right.
Wow, just coming out on top here. Let's see who voted for her. Artists, Becky, Grant, and Noel voted Aurora. Reed, Stacy, and Trish voted Carl. Dave, Purple Kelly, and Tori voted Chelsea.
Okay.
And Trish wins the fan favorite award.
Yay.
Okay. Well, it feels like a lot of the big star players end up kind of going around here, and we were left with
Yeah.
really with the like, how did they get here?
That's the point of the season. And
Yeah.
then Aurora pulls through because, like, she, with her finding of vitals and her winning that final immunity challenge,
Mhm.
um, and she has been playing a decent enough social game, but all of our attention was on the edit
Yeah.
of those five people, and then we got to the final four, and
Yeah.
then yeah, Aurora won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really felt like it was what Tori, Becky, Reed, Dave, Noel, and Stacy.
Stacy,
Like
yeah,
those ones had like a huge edit, and it's kind of crazy how they kind of just start going out back to back to back here.
yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at these stats.
Okay. Becky most strategic, followed by Aurora, followed by Carl.
It makes sense.
If you notice, Aurora, think anyone,
Zero.
yeah, no one voted against her. So
Nope.
that's a proof of her social game. If you weren't sure.
Two. Yeah, and two idle finds.
Yeah,
So
two
she
idle
did play a
finds.
very solid game. It's just
Yeah.
that the edit
Yeah,
didn't
she was
show
just
her that.
under edited. Oh,
Oh, it's fitting. It's very
yeah.
fitting.
Yeah. Dave Ball with 7 challenge wins, 4 immunities, 3 rewards. It seemed like he just could not lose for the longest time.
Yeah. I was like, is he gonna pull? Is he gonna pull a cap? Is he gonna pull Ozzy?
Ozzy, yeah, he was there. He just needed to, do it a few more times, and I think he could have kept going through. But yeah, just couldn't do it. Um, yeah, hopefully everyone out there vote for Dave to make it All Stars.
You gotta vote for Tori and you gotta vote for Reed.
Yep.
Uh, Noelle, in the sense she played well, she just made a really bad mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely feels like best players were yeah, down here. And then I think Aurora played a solid enough game where we're happy that she at least won.
Yeah, yeah. All right, everyone. So
Yeah.
yeah, make sure to vote. Yeah, because we got one more episode before our All Star 16, where we have, the cast list entirely made by you guys,
Mhm.
and we may have one or two surprises that we will disclose whenever Joe discloses it because he's the head honcho here.
Yeah, we got something very big in store for All Stars 15 to make it really feel like we're rewarding the fans for joining it. It's been great seeing everyone's favorites for each season, who everyone is rooting for. So yeah, make sure you vote down below who your top three are. And yeah, it's next week we are going to be doing another Survivor Rivals, but this one has a couple of twists that are added into it. Um, it is going to be a heroes versus villains rivals season
Ooh, interesting.
on blood versus water. So they're going to have
All
to
right.
play together as well.
Okay, okay. Brian has some homework to do. Well, it's
Yeah,
not that much homework, but like,
yeah,
I have to think. I have to think
yeah.
about this one.
Yeah, it's going
Like,
to be a little more of a deep dive, I think, to get a good cast list.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll see you guys then. And we're getting closer to Survivor 44
Mhm.
as well. So, after 16 and whatnot, we'll have our, prediction brand steal, and then, we're gonna have our draft. And, this upcoming season is gonna look crazy. I mean, if the trailer gives us any indication, it's we're going to be in for a lot. We'll definitely have a lot of things to discuss.
Yeah. Who knows? Are we getting another kill wrong? I don't know, but that's what they seem to want to tell us.
Exactly. All
Yeah,
right, everyone. Guess we'll see you the next time.
yeah, and yeah, we'll see you next week for the last fan submitted season. So yeah, see you then.
Peace.